Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison.
Hi, this is William Shatner.
It is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
What's up, everybody? Good morning, y'all. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Thursday, baby. We almost made it till the end of the week, and we got a lot to get to today, of course. We got a lot to get to every day, usually in part thanks to our co-producer, Donald Trump. He does a very good job giving us material every day to talk about. Coming up here in hour number 2, we're going to get to a man by the name of Paul Ventrino. He's from the Shine a Light Freedom House Sober Living program. We're talking about the story involving former porn star Jenny Lee, who was seen in one of those tunnels, living homeless in Las Vegas. Well, this gentleman used to be homeless himself, and now he helps others. So we'll talk about this. How do you get in that situation? Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports is going to be joining us in hour number 3. A lot to get to in the sports world with him. And then Sandy Van of the Van Law Firm will be joining us in studio in hour number 3 as well. So for like the last hour or two, I've been getting into it on Twitter with Brett Kavanaugh's attorney, Mike Davis. JD, are you familiar with this situation?
Yes, I am quite familiar with this situation.
Yeah, so Mike Davis is, he talks a lot of smack about Michael Avenatti, who we had on the show yesterday. So I wanted to get those two on the air for a debate. And Michael Avenatti has challenged him for it. And all this guy Mike Davis does, again, he's an attorney in D.C. He's Brett Kavanaugh's attorney, helped him get into the Supreme Court. My opinions on Brett Kavanaugh is I think he's a scumbag, but that's another story for another show. But anyway, Davis refuses to debate Michael Avenatti, so it's this feud on Twitter. It's very easy when you could be a tough guy behind your keyboard, but when it's actually, one person versus another, debate mano a mano, that's it's a different situation. So Davis has not agreed to debate Michael Avenatti. But I want to get to this story because I think it's very important. Yesterday, it was on all the news cycles, CNN, Fox News, a lot of the nationally syndicated radio shows. We're talking about this gentleman by the name of Wayne Allen Root. He does a local show here in Vegas. He's a nationally syndicated radio talk shows, and I've met Wayne a few times. He's always been very nice to me. And he went on social media yesterday and said something on social media that the president retweeted and spoke about. So Donald Trump said, "Thank you to Wayne Allen Root for the very nice words." Here's what Wayne Allen Root said yesterday. He said, "President Trump is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. He's the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people in Israel love him. He's the king of Israel. They love him like he's the second coming of God. But American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't even know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he's good for all Jews, blacks, gays, everyone. And importantly, he's good for everyone in America who wants a job." Wow. So, of course, if you kiss the ass, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a serial killer. If you kiss the ass of Donald Trump, he's probably going to retweet you. Most likely, eventually, it's going to happen. So I gave Wayne Allen Root an opportunity to come on the show. He has not responded. And I consider Wayne Allen Root to be someone of the likes of Alex Jones of InfoWars. And there's plenty of reasons why I make that claim. Let me start with this. October 1 in Las Vegas should be personal to all of us. I know somebody personally who was shot in the back, almost died. So Wayne Allen Root has come up with these conspiracy theories that are, to me, they're more than just conspiracy theories. They hurt people. There's no evidence to back up any of his claims, and this is the person that Donald Trump is retweeting and praising. Wayne Allen Root falsely claimed back in October 1, 2017, that the Las Vegas mass shooting was from Islamic terrorism, and then refused to apologize afterward, instead insisting that he heard about the connection from credible news sources like far-right conspiracy websites, the Gateway Pundit. Now, why is something like that serious? And I compare him to Alex Jones because if you remember, Alex Jones is the guy that said the school shooting in Connecticut never happened, and now he's being sued for that by some of the parents. Wayne Allen Root has a history of being a far right-wing nutjob conspiracy theorist. That's exactly what he is. He used the Parkland, Florida school massacre to advocate protecting schools with armed drones. He called President Barack Obama a Marxist in chief. said he ran a gangster government and declared war on capitalism. Root helped also push a hoax about a made-up Puerto Rican trucker strike to absolve Trump of blame over the administration's lackluster response to Hurricane Maria. The list goes on and on. He blamed the June 2017 terror attack in London on the UK, letting in too many Muslim immigrants. Tell me that's not racism right there. He seems to blame Muslims for everything. Muslims for the October 1 shooting, Muslims for the attack in June in London. Are you sensing something that he and Donald Trump have in common? Root joined other pro-Trump media figures in smearing singer Ariana Grande after that terror attack killed 22 people at her concert in England. He pushed a false smear saying a Democratic presidential candidate had committed sexual assault. Listen, I could name you hundreds of these things that this guy Wayne Allen Root has done. He's a nut job. He's a right-wing nut job. What else do you want to say? Maybe in his personal life he's a nice guy. Perhaps he's just doing this stuff for clicks. But on his Twitter page yesterday, he was bragging about how Rush Limbaugh spoke about him. He was bragging about how the president spoke about him. So I get the sense he just says ridiculous, crazy things for one reason and one reason only, so he can get clicks and people can talk about him. And you might say, well, Brian, you're part of the problem. You're talking about him right now. I think it's important to call out people like this. These are the type of people on a regular basis that Donald Trump retweets. These are the type of people that Donald Trump says nothing but nice things about. But he goes after people like John McCain. People that are dead, like war heroes John McCain. But he retweets people like Wayne Allen Root. First of all, Wayne Allen Root does not speak for Jewish people. Donald Trump does not speak for all the Jewish people. Donald Trump is no king of Israel. Donald Trump is no king of the Jewish people. Now, this is a serious subject when you have somebody that is a conspiracy theorist that is saying things that are just absolutely ludicrous with no facts to back it up. And again, we've invited Wayne Allen Root on the program. I would love to address these things with him in person. No response. On a lighter note, but a funny note, I do want to play this audio for you because I think it's hilarious. I've always been a Michael Rappaport fan. I think he's a funny guy. He does a great podcast. And I don't know, JD, are you a Michael Rappaport fan? I like Michael Rapp. I think he's a good dude. I like him.
I think he's a little unhinged. I did like him in True Romance as Dickie, the terrible movie star, or the hopeful movie star that wasn't a great actor.
I think he's a pretty good actor, but
he's a very average actor at best.
Higher Learning. I like that movie. He did a good job. He played a white supremacist in that movie. Donald Trump knows a thing or two about that. Oh, you see how I threw that in there?
I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so Michael Rappaport
very surprising.
Michael Rappaport is Jewish. And, all this stuff about Jews and about how, the Wayne Allen Root stuff and how he's the king of Israel. Michael Rappaport didn't take a liking to that, and we had to bleep out a lot of the words in this rant. He went on social media, did a rant on this. I want you to hear this, and then we'll talk about it.
Dick Stain Donald Trump. Disloyal Dick Stain Donald Trump. Keep the out your You don't speak on our behalf, okay? Don't try that divide and conquer with the Jews, okay? We don't need you speaking on our behalf. Okay, you and your tiny little hands and your baby little schmeckle. I never saw you at Shabbat dinner. I never saw you at synagogue. And if you put a yarmulke on the back of that hairpiece, it would slip slide off the back of your head. Remember Charlottesville when they were down there saying Jews will not replace us? And you said there's very fine people on both sides. Get the out of here. You don't speak on behalf of the Jews. You and your punk ass, pussy ass son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Keep the Jews out your mouth, all right?
So I think it's fair to say Michael Rappaport is not a Donald Trump fan.
I think he's got a nice, strong vocabulary. He's got a great vernacular, very diverse.
Well, I think he makes some valid points, though.
Oh, absolutely, and he says them so eloquently.
I think it was hilarious, by the way. That's Michael Rappaport. He's a New Yorker, and this is the way he talks. But The little Schmeckel comment, that kind of got me. I kind of enjoyed that one.
What exactly is a Schmeckel, Brian?
I think you could probably guess what that is.
I'm not sure what a Schmeckel is, Brian.
It's referring to male genitalia.
Can you confirm to me what a Schmeckel is, Brian?
Well, I just told you.
Okay.
Male genitalia.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not going to go there, although it is confirmed that
I enjoy being educated on air every single day.
Yeah, I have no problem educating you. But Donald Trump, it is confirmed that he does have small hands. I don't know about the Schmeckel, but he does have small hands. You know what they say about men with small hands, right? You know what they say about men with small hands? No, you don't?
They wear small gloves?
No, they give white supremacists a reason to commit mass shootings. That's what they say. All right, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, I want to get some reaction to this Michael Rappaport rant. I thought it was actually quite funny. And then what do you think about Wayne Allen Root going up, the conspiracy theorist himself, whatever you want to call him, going out saying that Donald Trump is king of the Jews? Take some...
You asking me or you asking the callers?
Yeah, I was going to give out the phone number, and then I'll ask you.
Okay.
The number to call is 702-257-5396, GCI Guys Hotline. Again, 702-257-5396. So, JD, what do you make of all this?
2019, the way you grab attention to yourself is by making over-the-top ridiculous statements because of social media and how in-your-face media is right now. And that's how Donald Trump basically became elected. That's how Ocasio-Cortez has built her reputation. That's how Omar has built her reputation. And that's what Wayne Allen Root is trying to do here. He's trying to grab as much attention to himself as he can by making over-the-top statements. And it worked. We're talking about him. Rush Limbaugh quoted him, who obviously is his hero. Donald Trump is responding to him, who obviously, again, is his hero. We're giving him exactly what he wants. Now, that being said, Muslim is not a race, it is a religion.
Okay, well, he's going after people of religion then.
He
which
absolutely is. I agree.
He has no evidence to back up the stuff where he says that the October 1 shooting happened because of Muslims. I can go on and on. He is a nutjob conspiracy theorist, no better than Alex Jones from InfoWars, and we all know how I feel about him. I don't think Wayne Allen Root is any better, but it's not a shocker to me that Donald Trump decides to retweet somebody like this. And Donald Trump praises, this guy. Thank you so much for the nice words. You say anything nice about Donald Trump, and he's going to, praise you. And if you criticize him in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't matter what your history is, he's going to go after you. That is Donald Trump.
You mentioned the sexual assault that he pushed. I mean, Star, National Enquirer, they've been doing that for years and years. Fake news has been happening all over the country for 40 years. I'm not suggesting it is right. And the left does the exact same thing to Donald Trump on a consistent basis.
I'm not doing whataboutism. We're talking about Wayne Allen Root right now.
No, I'm pulling out the double standard here.
I don't think there is a double standard. I think if somebody way on the left said something that was dumb or idiotic, I would call them out as well. I'm just talking about Wayne Allen Root right now and the fact that the president of the United States is retweeting his stupid remarks about the president being the king of Israel, the king of Jews, which is idiotic. And it's coming from an idiotic mouth in Wayne Allen Root, who is a conspiracy theorist who says ridiculous things on a daily basis on his radio show, and he does it for clicks, and I think that's wrong. I really do. And I think he hurts a lot of people with some of the things he says. We'll open up the GCI Guys hotline. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the program, 257-5396, 702-257-5396. And let's start off with Carl. Carl, what's going on?
What's up, Carl?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? I guess you know me. I've talked to you before. In regard to Root, have you ever listened to him on the radio?
Yes, I have.
Okay. He talks 100 miles an hour. Well,
Yeah.
as I said, I'm a retired psychologist, and his mother should have taken him to a doctor when he was a kid. He's a definite case of attention deficit disorder.
This means war. Isn't that what he says on his show all the time?
Yeah. But the way he talks,
Yeah.
100 miles an hour, doesn't half the time know what he's saying. He says he's a twin of Donald Trump. Well, that's true. Psychologically and other ways, they're exactly the same. They're both egomaniacs.
Yeah.
They can do nothing. Everything they do is perfect, and everybody loves them.
Hey,
Have you ever
Carl.
noticed that?
I have noticed one thing. There is a correlation between the phosphorescent whiteness of your teeth and your ego. And Donald Trump and Wayne Allen Root both have extremely white teeth.
My teeth are very yellow. I have a lot of cavities. Anyway, Carl, I will say this. I don't know if you're aware. Wayne Allen Root says that he's responsible for Donald Trump being elected. Did you know that?
Oh, how many times did he vote? Maybe if he voted 18 million times, he was. I don't know.
So let me ask you this, Carl. Do you think it is fair for me to say Wayne Allen Root is very similar to Alex Jones of InfoWars, that they have a lot of things in common?
No, he's he's not quite reached that level yet. Almost. He's pretty close.
Well,
to
I
it.
think, Carl, and I understand. I think, Carl, when you take the October 1 shooting, a tragedy that killed, 60 people,
Right.
and then you say that Muslims did it, with have no evidence to back that up, I think that is a very dangerous thing.
Now, I agree that it's kind of ridiculous. There is a possibility that it was an arms deal gone wrong, considering the circumstances.
There is no evidence of that, number one. That is another conspiracy theory.
No, it's not a conspiracy theory.
There's no evidence to back that up.
I'm not suggesting there is evidence. I'm saying there is a possibility.
I don't say there's a
that it's an
possibility.
arms deal gone wrong.
When the FBI has already conducted their report and they say that Paddock was the only person responsible, not to say the FBI or the government has ever lied before, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Wayne Allen Root is taking things out of his ass and saying stuff that is just dangerous and ridiculous. And Carl, I'm sure you would agree with me. This is not a good thing, and the fact that the president supports him and retweets him is disgusting.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I've never, on this station and some other stations, I've never heard so many people that have so many serious mental problems, especially hosts and callers too, actually. But
Yeah.
I've never heard this in my life.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
strange.
like a primer, a
Yeah.
psychology primer at school. For
I hear
somebody
you. I hear
to
you,
listen
Carl.
to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the final thing, I mean, the man, this Root is. I always call him. I never use his name. I say the part of the weed that grows underground. You know.
I hear you, Carl. Carl, it's good. I hear you, Carl. I got to get to some other callers. I appreciate the call, Carl. I think for the most part we're in agreement there. Hopefully he's not saying I have psychological problems. I mean, I think I do, but I don't know. 257-5396. Let's go to Marge. Marge, what's going on?
Hi, I was going to say that there's an exception, and you don't have mental problems. And neither does JT.
That's up for debate, Marge, but I appreciate that.
Great. That was great. Wayne Allen Root is a buddy of Donald. He opened, when Donald was running for presidency, he opened all of the gatherings that he had here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
If you ever listen to him, he says that he's just like Donald Trump. And they're both businessmen, and they started with almost nothing, and they grew, et cetera, et cetera. So he really fancies himself just like another Donald Trump. He's got a lot of books. I think what Trump is doing also is just highlighting him so that, he can increase the sales of books, et cetera, and
Right.
whatever his notoriety is. But it gets to a point with his ego. I'm not sure who's got the worst ego, either Trump or Wayne Allen Root.
Well, listen, there is nothing more I would rather do than be sitting across from Wayne Allen Root right now and discussing some of the ridiculous things that he talks about on a regular basis. And then, first of all, Wayne Allen Root, I don't care if he's 99% Jewish or 1% Jewish or 100% Jewish. He certainly doesn't speak for me. He doesn't speak for the Jewish people in this country. And if he wants to go on his right-wing buffoon rant on his radio show, he can do whatever he wants to. But he certainly doesn't speak for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, he does make off that he's a representative of the Jewish community very often on his show.
He's out for clicks.
Yeah.
He was bragging yesterday about how Rush Limbaugh mentioned his name and all these networks and all that stuff. It's like, dude, get over yourself already, okay? Get over yourself. You are a conspiracy theorist. Why do people know who you are? And by the way, I'm not convinced a lot of people do, but why? Why do people know who you are? Because you say ridiculously awful things on your show on a regular basis, and I named a bunch of them. That's the sad part about this, Marge. That's the sad part of the state that we are living in now, where if you say something completely ridiculous, you're going to get a lot of clicks, and it could help your career. That's the sad part,
Yeah, and people don't take time to think through and judge things and really consider what's really being said here and what's reality, too,
How can you say, if you do a nationally, I don't even care if you do just a local radio show, how can you go on the air and live with yourself and say that Muslims committed the October 1 shooting? I mean, how can you say things like that and anybody take you seriously? There are people on the right that actually take this guy seriously. That is startling to me. It really is.
Yeah, it's also scary, too,
Yeah.
Because then they extend it to other things, too, as far as the Muslim community is concerned.
Exactly. Boy, if I was a Muslim, I'm already not a Wayne Allen Root fan. If I was a Muslim, boy, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess you can't sue him for saying something like that, but certainly there are lawsuits against Alex Jones for saying ridiculous things. Marge, always good to hear from you. Thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. I got to take a quick break. Why don't you take a quick break here? The number to call if you want to be a part of the program. Did I say program? Program.
You just said Krogram, Brian.
If you'd like to be a part of the program, give us a call on the GCI Guys hotline. That is 702 257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the program, 257-5396. And by the way, we have a lot of other stuff to get to. Yet Trump getting into a fiasco with Greenland.
I want to talk Wayne Allen route for at least 6 hours the next 2 days.
Well, we're definitely not going to do that. I think one segment is sufficient.
I totally agree with you.
We definitely don't want to go 6 hours on that. But, we could talk 6 hours about how people with white teeth seem to be conspiracy theorists. I don't know if there's a correlation there, but we could do that if you want. You want to do that?
I'm good.
Okay, just making sure. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey, everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from the Vegas Take Care. I want to share with you a story. I was driving to meet somebody for lunch in the Valley one day when I was stopped at a red light, hit from behind by a driver going around 40 miles an hour. My car was totaled. I suffered injuries. I needed help. I contacted Van Law Firm. Within a few days, I was getting the medical treatment I needed, and within 6 months, I received the maximum settlement. Give Van Law Firm a call, 702-500-HURT, for a free consultation. You pay nothing unless they win. It's the Van Law Firm. Call them, 702-500-HURT, and mention you heard it from the Vegas Take.
Hi, it's Matt Ray with America's First News, heard right here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDWN. Start your day in the know. From Washington to Wall Street and covering the world, we've got you covered with the latest news, commentary, and analysis. Everything but the cup of coffee. America's First News, weekday mornings, 2 to 6 a.m. right here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us on a Thursday. By the way, coming up in hour number 2, and we'll take your calls, by the way, here in just a few minutes at 702-257-5396. But coming up in hour number 2, have you heard of this story? We talked about it a little bit earlier this week. A former porn star. She was making a lot of money. She was on top of the world, so to speak. Having sex on camera, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Dream come true, isn't it, JD? Well, her name is Jenny Lee, and she was seen over the weekend homeless in Las Vegas, living in one of those tunnels. It's a sad story. So we have a guest coming on who used to be homeless. He now runs the Shine a Light Freedom House Sober Living Program. Because I want to ask him, how do you get to this point in your life where you're making so much money and you're doing what you like to do, and then, boom, a couple years later, you have no money and you're homeless? So we'll talk to Paul about that. Again, he used to be homeless, and he got out of that. So he'll be joining us in hour number 3. We got Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports, who's going to be joining us as well, and Sandy Van from the Van Law Firm. So all that coming up here, so stay tuned for that. Anybody who wants to give us a buzz, wants to talk a little bit about the situation involving Wayne Allen Root, we'll take your calls on that, too, at 257-5396. Also, this is an interesting story I want to get to next segment. Organizers of the Miss America pageant are saying that Miss Nevada was stripped of her crown for violating social media rules. Now, she is a Trump supporter. We've seen this before with Miss Michigan, with Miss Zhu. She lost her job. Or I should say she was stripped of her title, not really her job. So Miss Nevada was stripped of her crown for violating social media rules. We'll tell you all what exactly she said coming up in the next segment. It is interesting. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but we'll get your take on it. And again, take your calls at 257-5396. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN. All right, welcome welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Thursday. And that sound means this part of the show brought to you by the GCI guys at Realty One Group. And my man Lee Goldberg, former TV sportscaster, now wants to be on your home team. Talk to the GCI guys. They'll save you money. And for any of our listeners, you get $1,000 in your hand at closing. If you're a veteran, military, police, fire, teacher, nurse, hospitality, casino industry, you get $2,000 back at closing. $2,000 back. That's right. Talk to the GCI guys. 702-902-3029. Call or text right now. Lee himself will answer. 702-902-3029. Or check them out at thegciguys.com. Oh, by the way, speaking of websites, we have a new website up. It is thevegastake.com. So we hope you check that out as well. I want to get to this Miss Nevada story. She stripped of her crown. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but we'll take a few more of your phone calls on this Wayne Allen Root situation. 702-257-5396. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the program. 257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, what's going on?
Yeah, right on. Good morning, guys. I wanted to bring up Carl.
What's up?
Please don't give Carl, that crackerjack psychologist, any credit more than what he deserves. The guy is an absolute idiot for the last 2 years. All he does is bash Trump.
Well, hold on a second. What are you talking about? You're talking about one of our callers?
Yeah, crazy Carl, the one who
All right,
has
so
the
hold on.
master degree.
Okay, hold on. I don't care what his degree is. I don't care what any of my callers' degrees
Well,
are.
he sure lets everybody know that he has a master's,
All right,
doesn't
well,
he?
hold on. He didn't say that with this phone call, so tell me specifically in this phone call what you disagree with. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes here. Let's not personally attack him.
Oh, okay. Well, I disagree. Okay, I'll just start off. I disagree with everything Carl says for the last 2 years on the radio.
What do you That's fine. What do you disagree with what he said today about Wayne Allen Root?
About Wayne Allen Root?
Yeah.
Wayne Allen Root is a great guy. He happens to be a friend of mine. And you know what?
A great guy?
He stands up to the fake news. He stands up to
Okay,
the
so
fake
let me ask you a question then, Brady. Since you called him a great guy and you say he stands up to the fake news, he said that the October 1 shooting happened because of Muslims. He pushed a right-wing conspiracy theory that Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was murdered by high-ranking Democratic officials. Root promoted a conspiracy theory that Obama blackmailed Chief Justice John Roberts. I have hundreds of these conspiracy theories, so don't you talk to me about fake news. All this guy does is bring up fake stuff.
Well, let me just bring up one thing, Brian, then, because, you know, if Wayne Allen Root thinks that it might be a Muslim connection with the shooting in Las Vegas, so be it. The FBI has not given who did it yet, so...
That's not true. That's not true.
Don't be
That's
bashing
not
Wayne Allen
true.
Root.
What you just said is not true. The FBI has said that Paddock was the sole person responsible for the shooting. What the hell, Brady, with all due respect, what the hell are you talking about? The FBI came out with a report.
Do you remember in the beginning when that shooting happened? ISIS came out specifically and gave that guy a name.
ISIS was not responsible. ISIS was not responsible for the shooting. And tell me one bit of evidence that would tell me or anybody that Muslims were responsible for the October 1 shooting. One piece of evidence. I'll gladly listen to it right now.
Okay, give me one piece of evidence that they
Answer the question. Answer the question. I'm not the one. I don't that they weren't. Okay, I'll give you a million pieces of evidence. Scott Paddock killed himself in a hotel room. There's video surveillance of him. There's also evidence of the fact that he went to Lollapalooza in Chicago. He was thinking of shooting them up, and he planned this for months. There's absolute evidence. The FBI brought that up, and the FBI says that Muslims had nothing to do with this, that Scott Paddock, they believe, was the only person responsible for that. So there you go. Checkmate. I just gave you the answer.
Checkmate. How come there hasn't any been an arrest made then? Checkmate.
Because there's one person responsible, and he's dead.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Come on.
What do you mean, no? Come on,
man.
What do you mean, come on?
I will say this. His name is Stephen Paddock. It's not Scott. And I do find it hard to believe that a 55 or 60-year-old man with 15 assault rifles with zero experience in military training could shoot that many people in that small amount of time. I do find that to be interesting, but Brian is right. There has been absolutely no evidence pointing to the contrary that Stephen Paddock was the only shooter in this Route 91 festival.
Yeah, so if you're gonna defend Wayne Allen Root and talk about fake news, why don't you talk about your buddy Wayne Allen Root? Because he brings up fake hoaxes and he brings up crap every day on his radio show. And I'm going to tell you something. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's no better than that guy from InfoWars. So if you're going to call in and defend Wayne Allen Root for saying Muslims were responsible for the October 1 shooting, then shame on you, Brady. Shame on you.
Well, I like Alex Jones too, and I like
what a
Wayne
shocker.
Allen Root.
So you like hold on a second. So you like a guy, Alex Jones, a guy that brings up the Connecticut shooting and say the shooting never happened? How could you like a guy like that?
Up every time.
You guys bring that up. You guys bring that. Oh, so it's not fair to bring that up because that shows you a little bit about this guy's character. So many kids lost their lives. They were killed. Parents are still suffering. And that bastard goes on his stupid InfoWars show and says that shooting never happened. And you support a guy like that? Shame on you again.
He puts out many things that are true. He might not have done everything.
So if you put up so if you put up some things that are true, it's okay with you to say that the Connecticut shooting didn't happen. That's okay with you, Brady. As long as you say some things are true, you can make up crap about other things, and that's okay with you, Brady.
Okay, let's blame the shooter, not the messenger. Okay?
No, absolutely not. I blame both. I blame the shooter and I blame an idiot that goes on a show and says the shooting didn't happen while families are still suffering without their loved ones. You're damn right I'm going to blame both, and you can blame both. So don't you give me that crap.
Another thing
is... Yeah, laugh. Go ahead. Give me that nervous laugh because you know I'm right and you're wrong.
Brady, I have a question for you. You said that you are friends with Wayne Allen Root. I hear he is a professional handicapper, or he was.
Yeah.
Was he any good?
I got some stories on that.
Well, he sounds like he's been. I know him personally mostly from the radio conversations I've had since he started his show.
Well, let me give you a story about his sports handicapping, Brady, since he's your friend. I used to know Wayne Allen Root. I worked in the same building where he was at frequently, okay? You know how he told me how he did his sports handicapping? He told me this person to person. And if he comes on our show, I'm sure he will remember this conversation. He said what he did was he bet against the public, and the other thing he did was he said there were times when he had clients, he would give half his clients one side of the game and half his clients the other side. You know what you call somebody like that? A scam artist, Brady. It is a scam artist. The same type of scam artist that makes up stuff about the October 1 shooting. The same type of scam artist like Alex Jones, when he talks about a mass shooting and he says it didn't happen. They are scam artists. They say it so they can get clicks. They say it so that they can get money off of people's expense. And those are the type of people that you support, Brady. What does that say about you?
Well, now, Brian, in the same vein, what about the Democrats right now, the left-wing media, which is basically
whataboutism again?
No, it's not whataboutism. You're calling people scam artists. I'm saying how is the left-wing media basically trying to create a recession right now via their resources? Not the same thing as a scam.
Find me a person on the left.
It's the exact same thing, Brian. Everybody is doing it on both sides.
Okay, so
and it's been happening
like
that for a long time.
Okay, so I'll ask you this question then. Find me one person on the left that does a national show that says mass shootings didn't happen, that make up stuff about these mass shootings like Muslims did it, and make up these shootings. Has somebody on the left ever said Donald Trump committed this mass shooting? Has somebody on the left ever made something like that up? Give me a specific example of somebody like a Wayne Allen Root. Did anyone ever say Obama was, the leader of Jews or whatever? Has anyone ever said anything like that before? Find me somebody on the left that does a national show that does what Alex Jones does, a person that Brady clearly supports. Give me one person on the left that does a national show that says things that Alex Jones says. One person.
In the same vein? They talk about different subjects. Obviously, they're not going to talk about that.
I mean, Alex Jones has been sued for those comments, and he's going to lose, okay? So, I mean, that's taking it to another level. Brady, I don't know what to tell you, my man. People like to use the term Trump derangement syndrome. I think you have right-wing derangement syndrome. I mean, you've never, ever criticized anybody, on the right, ever. Ever. You call in all the time. You've never criticized anybody on the right. You've never criticized Donald Trump when it comes to anything. And then you defend scumbags like Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a scumbag.
You defend scumbags like CPL Avenatti. What are you talking about?
Okay, so let's have a conversation about that, okay? Let's have a conversation about Michael Avenatti. What has he been convicted of? Name me one thing
he's but he's got a lot of things that he has to go to court for.
Name me one thing he's ever been found guilty of. Name me one, please. I'll wait.
He's about as guilty as Hillary Clinton.
That's not my question. That wasn't my question. My question is, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist Alex Jones fan, name me one thing that Michael Avenatti has been actually found guilty of. One thing, my friend. One thing. You don't like him because of his political side. You don't like him because he's gone after Donald Trump for years. Why don't you admit it?
Correct. He's one of the ones on the left I can't stand.
So I will ask you again. You called him a scumbag. Why is he a scumbag?
Just because he's a creepy porn lawyer.
So you think it's creepy? Okay, Mr. Tucker Carlson, you think it's creepy? You think it's creepy to defend someone who is in the porn business? Tell me what's creepy about that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He embezzled quite a bit of money from
you heard, and where did you hear that from?
No, actually, Brady, he said on our show that he was given $100 retainer and a promise of proceeds.
Brady, you have no idea what you are talking about.
The handicap person that he embezzled the money from.
And where's your proof on that? And where's your proof on that? It's
I don't know. It's
you
all
don't know.
right
Yeah,
now
guess
because
what?
It's in the court
Yeah,
system.
you don't know a lot of things. You know why you don't know a lot of things and you don't have any facts? Because you're listening to that Nimrod Alex Jones. Have a nice day. You don't know anything, Brady.
The problem is he's basing his opinion on unfounded information.
Well, what a shocker. What does Alex Jones do?
But that's America in 2019.
What does Wayne Allen Root do? What does Alex Jones do? Wayne Allen Root said that the October 1 shooting was Muslims committed that. Where does he get that from? Where does Alex Jones get that the Connecticut shooting didn't happen? When people like Brady call in and they come up with that sort of stuff. See, this is why I say it's dangerous. Hosts like this, Wayne Allen Root, hosts like Alex Jones, because people like Brady believe everything they say. And there's not one thing he said in that entire phone call, and it was a long phone call, that was factual. Not one thing. Folks, he made the case. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, that number 702-257-5396 is the number. Let's go to Gary. Gary, what's going on?
What's up, Gary?
Hey, I just want to say that you and Wayne Allen Root, only in America, you're Howard Stern fans. That's what you have in common.
That might
only
be
in America.
That might be the only thing I have in common with Wayne Allen Root, Gary. I
just want to say one more thing.
Does he have hair, Brian? Does Wayne Allen Root have hair?
Yes, he does.
Is it real or is it fake?
I have no idea.
It's probably fake.
No idea. Go ahead, Gary.
What's up, Gary?
Oh, I just want to point something out. What do you call it? My older brother was a big Howard Stern fan. I never was a big Howard Stern fan, but he did run for governor, and he promised, if you elect me, I'll take care of two major problems. I can take care of the homeless people and the potholes in one deal, because I'll shove the homeless people in the pothole and pave over them.
Okay, well, that's not very nice, Gary, but I appreciate your call and your thoughts. Thank you very much. I am a very big Howard Stern fan, but I don't believe Howard Stern would ever seriously come up with a policy like that. I don't think that's true. 257-5396. Let's go to John. John, what's going on?
What's up, John?
Hey, buddy. I'm here to confront. I want to talk to you about Wayne Allen Root. You said a few things that wasn't absolutely true.
Okay, what?
The first thing was that he does go against the public, but I worked in his office for 15 years. He never once gave both sides of a game.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. That's what he told me face to face. So you calling him a liar? Or me a liar?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a liar.
Somebody's lying, and it wasn't him because I was his manager for 15 years.
Well, that's a very reputable thing to do. Just bet against the public and do no research on a game. He sounds like a wonderful sports handicapper.
It can do okay, but long term, it's not sustainable. Obviously,
is he still a sports handicapper?
But John, you could admit that a lot. John, you can admit that a lot of syndicates.
The public doesn't win too often, so it ain't a bad way to go.
Oh, really? Really? What was his percentage, John?
It's all variable.
John, what was it?
50% range.
You think 50%?
Well,
if you're 50%, you're a losing handicapper.
52.35%.
In the 50s.
Give me. You worked for him for 15 years. You worked for him for 15 years, and you can't give me an exact percentage of what he was.
Well, over the course of all the years, I would say he's around the 58 to 60%.
Well, you just said 50s. Now all of a sudden, okay.
Hey, I'll tell you that.
You said he did.
Hey, John, if he really is 58 to 60%.
I'm telling you right now, he doesn't get both sides of the game, so that's false.
But John, a lot of syndicates in Vegas did for years and years. Can you agree with that?
I don't know about it, but the seven.
All right. Well, we're going to agree. We're going to agree to disagree. I think he's a scam artist handicapper, John. That's my personal opinion. So let's move on. What else did I say about Wayne Allen Root that was incorrect?
No, I was just telling you. You were right on the part that he does bet against the public numerous times, but he never gave both sides of a game. We used to get a schedule of the games every morning. We gave them out, and they were the games that were used on radio and TV for 34 years.
So let me ask you this. Do you condone, since you're obviously very close to him, do you condone him saying that Muslims were responsible for
I'm not close to Wayne Allen Root. I haven't talked to Wayne Allen Root in probably 8-9 years.
Okay, I believe you. That's fine. But do you condone some of his remarks saying that Muslims were responsible for the October 1 shooting? I could name you about 100 other idiotic things he said over the years.
Sir, I'm not calling about that, what happened at the shooting. All I'm doing is confirming that you said he gives both sides of the game.
Well, that's what he told me.
Against the public, and I'm agreeing 50%. He does go against the public, and he never gave both sides of the game as long as I worked at office for 15 years.
Is he still sports handicapping?
I haven't talked to him in 9 years. I have no idea.
If he was so good at what he does, why does he not do it anymore?
He probably still does. He's online, I believe. If you go to Vegas Insider, his name's on there.
I wonder what was his best year percentage-wise? In 15 years you worked for him, what was his best percentage?
basketball and college football in the 70% range a lot of times.
Is that verified?
NFL very tough.
Where can
50,
we?
52.
Okay, so let's just say you're being honest. I have no reason to believe you're
I'm
not.
being honest, sir.
Okay,
I'm
all
not
right.
sticking up for Wayne Allen Root and some of the stuff he does politician-wise.
I understand. Listen, John, I understand what you're saying, but I'm asking you, if you claim that he was 70% in a season of college basketball, where could we go online to see that is verified? Where could we go online to see that?
Yeah, John, that's a crazy question. I say that because John.
I'm just saying roughly 70%, but I don't know over his career, 34 years, 35 years combined. I worked in the office for 15 years. He had bad years.
Yeah.
He had good years.
Uh-huh.
But college basketball and college football were his two best sports.
All right, so where is that verified? Where can we find that?
Go to sportsinformation.com, I guess.
Right, go ahead. JD has a question for you.
You know, John, I find that hard to believe. I'm a professional handicapper myself. I'm considered one of the best high-volume baseball bettors. My record this year is 185 and 121, which is right around 61%.
Right.
70%. I've been 63% NFL before, probably 58 to 60 college football. I've never sniffed 70%.
I'm not saying he hit 70% every year, sir. What I'm saying is,
any year.
He had years
On 10 games or on 150 games?
Sir, if you go to Vegas Insider, look at all the handicappers running. There's guys hitting 68, 69%.
Over the course of maybe 10 games, but not over the course, very rarely.
No. You go to Vegas Insider and look at some of the handicappers that did.
All right, so here's what I want from you, John. Listen,
football.
John, I appreciate your perspective, but here's what I would like from you. Our Twitter page is @TheVegasTake. If you can show me somewhere where it is verified, and I'm talking about
Oklahoma
verified.
Sports Monitor. Go to Oklahoma.
So if I go to
look at his career.
so if I go to Oklahoma Sports Monitor, it will show me a season where he was over 70%, and it's been verified for years. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. No, I didn't say years, sir. You keep putting words in my mouth. I said
he said a couple. He said a couple of seasons. He's had a couple of good seasons like that.
I would love to look at that information, John.
Years that he's been handicapping for over 34 years.
Right.
He
All right.
could probably hit more than two years of 70%.
All right. Well, it's my opinion.
Hard to do.
All right. Well, it's my opinion. I think he's a losing handicapper, but we'll look up that information and we'll find out.
I mean, you just don't like him because he's a politician.
No. I'll tell you why.
That's definitely part of it.
I'll tell you why. I don't like anybody.
I'm verifying it because I worked with him for 15 years, knowing.
I know you said that.
He was never getting both sides of a game.
Uh-huh.
He releases the games. We all got printout sheets. And they're the games we used on the telephone while our.
All right. Well, then maybe you should tell him. Then maybe you should tell him not to say things to somebody unless he was joking. Don't say that to somebody because they'll take it seriously. John, I appreciate the call. I got to get some other calls. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Angel. Angel, what's going on?
What's up, Angel?
Angel.
Angel
Cabrera. Did we lose you? 702-257-5396. Is the number to call. Look, anybody who, it's saying, well, you don't like his politics. No, I'll tell you what I don't like in regards to Wayne Allen Root. I don't like anybody who makes stuff up at the expense of others. I don't like anybody who makes stuff up.
You think that he's perpetuating conspiracy theories to
get clicks,
to enrich himself financially.
Yes, and it's worked.
And that's a reasonable thought.
And it's worked.
Well, clearly it's working.
Yeah, and it's sad.
We just spent 50 minutes talking about this guy.
And it's
I've
zero.
never heard of him.
Zero respect
before
for him.
Yesterday.
Zero respect for him. Well, I have because he's been in this town for a long time. You haven't been here very long, but I have zero respect for him for a lot of different reasons. And I don't care if 1 year he went 70% in college basketball, if that is even true, which, by the way, I doubt.
Well, let me tell you this. Right now, my bettors are up about 40 full bets. So say you bet $500 a game, you're up about 20 grand this year with me in baseball. And I'm at 60%. If I was at 70%, that number would be probably 30 or 40K. I find that extremely difficult to believe.
I don't believe that. I think it's nonsense, just like everything else he says on his show. Absolute nonsense. But hey, not a shocker that Donald Trump supports the man. Not a shocker. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. I certainly want to get to this story coming up here in just a few minutes. This is crazy. Miss America pageant says that Miss Nevada was stripped of her crown for violating social media rules. This is a very similar story. If you remember, we covered Miss Zhu, who lost her crown, Miss Michigan, because she is a Trump supporter, and she said and I actually defended her on this. She said some things defending Donald Trump. I didn't see anything wrong that she did, and I'm going to defend Miss Nevada on this one too. As much as everyone knows I am not a Donald Trump supporter, I believe you should have the right, whether it's social media, wherever, to speak your mind politically. And if somebody takes that away from you and strips you, say in this example, of your crown of Miss Nevada, I think that's wrong. I don't agree with it. She's a 29-year-old fitness instructor from Las Vegas. She posted this 8-minute video, and we're going to play a few cuts from that after the news. You know, I think we're living in crazy times right now. You know, everybody has an opinion on everything, which is okay. You know, it doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, clearly. But unless you say something that is just so crazy over the top, unless you say something that is blatantly, let's just say hypothetically, racist, which Miss Nevada did not do, unless you say something that is really hateful, unless you threaten somebody, yeah, that can hurt your business. That can hurt who you represent, and that shouldn't be condoned by anybody. Violence, racism, that type of stuff should never be tolerated. And if somebody loses their job over that, then so be it. They probably deserve it. But because you support President Trump and you support some of his policies, and even if you support what he's doing as far as, you know, the immigration stuff or the things he said in the past, you know, about John McCain, that sort of stuff, that's your right. I don't agree with you. I would say you're wrong in your opinions, but hey, you have the right to your opinion. You should be stripped of Miss Michigan or Miss Nevada because of that? Because of your political beliefs? I just think we're living in very dangerous times right now, and I certainly don't agree with it. So when we come back, I want to play you a few clips from Miss Nevada talking about this. You know, Katie Williams is her name, and she says her conservative values are really at the root of her losing, getting stripped of her crown. So I want to hear from her. We'll get to that coming up next. And, of course, John Schaefer, KDWN news anchor. We'll get to the news coming up. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.